Are you ready to move forward? This week's energy is all about forward movement. We have the full moon coming in this week, which is a full moon in Venus, all about relationships and also money. And it's pink, which I think is just appropriate because the moon will be a pink hue, because I associate pink with Venus and Libra energy, and I'm also a Libra. And Venus is now going forward. It's going direct. So that helps us with forward movement in those aspects of our lives that Venus brings up. With this full moon, it's going to mean a little bit of releasing what no longer serves us, but also releasing things that are within us that we have not brought out of us yet. I think in the echo chamber of the internet, we keep hearing release what no longer serves, what no longer serves. But it's not just about releasing what no longer serves. If you think about it, a lot of women give birth on full moons because you're releasing something that you have been creating, you have been growing, and it is time to let go of that and let the world see it, share it with other people. So when we talk about releasing at the full moon, it also means releasing creations. And so it can be both, just depending on what you're going through in your life. But I wanted to make that point clear. So there's 3 things I wanted to talk about with this energy, some tips for you. Learn from the chaos. We just came out of eclipse season, and my world definitely got shaken up. There was one moment where my foot literally went through a board on our deck, which we know has been needing resurfacing. So it just brought up all these things that we needed to take care of, not just in my home, but in relationships. I had relationships get shaken up. And for me, and maybe this is relevant to you, I have some people-pleasing tendencies. And sometimes I think if I'm nicer to people, they'll be nicer to me. Even if somebody is mistreating me, I'll just want to be nicer to them because then they'll want to be my best friend and everything will be fine. And maybe if I buy them this gift, or maybe if I do this amazing thing for them, then they'll like me more. And that is never how this works. Because really what relationships are us exchanging energy. And we might get in our, human minds, we might think that we can switch out that energy exchange for gift exchange or for, acts of service exchange. I'm not saying those things aren't great and can't help a relationship, but they help relationships that already have a balanced energy exchange. And if you're in a relationship, I'm not just talking about significant others here. I'm also talking about friendships. This is all relationships. This can even be coworkers. If you're in a relationship where you can tell that it is unbalanced, you are giving and not receiving, then there's an issue there, especially if it makes your nervous system kind of on the fritz. So really pay attention to your nervous system, because that is a good indication of the energy. And sometimes we like to ignore our nervous system, and we have all of these we have all of these doubts, and we try to rationalize things because we want to look at the bigger side of things, or the better side of things. At least I know I do. I try to stay positive, but sometimes staying positive, we're not really looking at the real circumstances, what is authentically there. So positivity is great, but not if that positivity is lying to you. The toxic feminine is about this energy exchange, but it brings up power. So when you kind of like Mean Girls, Mean Girls, Regina George, right? That's her name, I think. She was able to take people's power through insult, but it was always insult that didn't look, it was disguised, right? She would it would almost seem like it was a compliment, but it wasn't. And it made people want to please her. It made people want to do whatever she says. Even though it was a mask, right? She had a mask for what her real true thoughts were, which she wrote in in that journal. So people could feel the discomfort with her, but they chose to ignore it. Not everybody, but the ones who gave into it. They chose to ignore it because they thought they were getting power from her when really she was taking their power. She was making them weak. Because when you can't stand on your own, in your own power, in your own divine light, then around somebody, then that's because they are diminishing your power. I grew up in a dynamic in my family with a family member where I had to constantly make sure she felt good about herself, which meant a lot of times belittling myself, making myself look smaller because that made her feel better. And my mom was no help with this. She encouraged it. And that even made it seem more like that was the right thing to do. So when I get around a personality like that, I feel like I have to shrink. And I feel like I have to tell them my problems and my struggles more than the positive stuff in my life, because that'll make them feel better. And that is me giving my power away. That is me making myself this instead of this. And that is what I want you to pay attention to this week. If someone is dimming your light, if someone is taking that power away from you, and I bring up the toxic feminine because this is very common with women in toxic relationships between women. And also, men are very capable of this, of course. I'm more aware of it with women. Men are more straightforward in their toxic masculinity, which is a whole other set of issues. But I felt more compelled to talk about the toxic feminine this week with this energy, because I think it's a lot more relevant and you might be experiencing it. And if you are, I wanted to validate your feelings and tell you that it's okay if you find yourself in this kind of situation. Don't beat yourself up over it, because holding on to, for me anyway, it's not even that I'm so much angry at the person for saying all those rude things to me or underhanded compliments or just insults, straight up insults. It's more that I'm mad at myself for allowing myself to be around a person like that, to be around somebody who, I feel like I have to make myself small around to give them more power, to feel more empowered. And I came across this quote in my yoga gem book that I wanted to share. Once you begin to watch your anger, you will make an interesting discovery. You will find that as soon as you know you are angry, your anger will melt away by itself. It is very important that you watch without likes or dislikes. The more you are able to look at your own anger without making judgments, without being critical, and the more easily the anger will dissipate. So just being aware of our anger can help us make it dissolve. And of course, the cure to anger, after we have become aware of it, is to forgive. And I pulled a tarot card, which I have never done for these videos, but maybe I'll start including it, just for some more wisdom, whatever Spirit wanted to share. And I got the King of Cups, which I thought was really awesome, because now we're talking about more of this divine masculine, this mature masculine. And it doesn't always have to be revolving around men. We all have masculine within us. But this is like the diplomat. He's in control of his emotions, or she's in control of her emotions, and has empathy and understanding for those around her. So when I am faced with a toxic feminine energy, I can look at it objectively and think, without judgment, I can think, okay, this isn't really about me. I don't have to take this personally because I know it's really about what's going on within them. And for whatever reason, they feel like they have to take others' power in order to feel empowered. But that's not about me. And I don't have to give them my power. And that's the most important thing I want you to take away from this is you do not have to give others your power. And this is the beautiful energy that Venus is bringing this week. It's to help us become aware of these relationships and help us move forward away from them, to release them so that we can walk in our power, in our light, in our divine light, which is what we're here to do. And you can allow people to get to you and make you stay awake at night. And I've been there. It's okay to be there, but to not stay there. To not stay there. And the last thing I want to talk about with Venus is our finances. So Venus is bringing this energy, and with the full moon, it's asking us to release something. So the tip is to save your money right now. And to really not save it like you're a hoarder, and you're tightening, but to save it in a way where it's like, look at it as your money as like a friend that you want to be around. You can even imagine money as like a spirit, and having a good relationship with this spirit will help bring more money into you. So I want you to think of your money right now as a friend that you want to stay with you. So watch your spending. Be very, very careful with where you release your money to. And even have like a bill of some sort, a $5 bill, $10 bill, $1 bill, whatever. Have it close to you and just keep it close, like you would a friend. So that's my tip for money this week. And really try to have a good connection and relationship with this bill, or if you want, I like to think of money as a green spirit, a flowy green spirit, however you want to think of money, but mend that relationship with money, because money is an energy exchange as well. And when we are thinking of money with bad feelings, anxiety, fear, evil people have lots of money. And I know this is true, but I like to think of money as an amplifier. The more money you have, it will amplify who you are. So if you are already a bad person, the more money you have will amplify that wickedness or that greed or that evil. If you are a good person, that money will help amplify your goodness, because you will be able to share, you will be able to help. You will become, you are who you are still, you will just be more amplified. So I want you to think of money like that and release any bad thoughts you have towards money. If you have bills that are unpaid, try to figure out how to get them paid. Work out a payment plan, do whatever you have to do. Because again, this is your relationship with money. And if you're fearing a bill, if you're fearing taking care of something because it has to do with money, this is you telling money, I'm scared of you, stay away. So the exchange, it works both ways. It doesn't matter if it's money coming in or money coming out or money staying put. How you think of money is a direct result of what money will do for you and with you, and if it will come to you. So thank you so much for being here. I hope this helped. And wherever you are, peace to you.